I saw you one of the booths in Albury. Your boat held up in Albury, but really you're one in the regional. You're one outside the city centre, the main centre of Albury, Griffith, Narrandera, Denny, Hay, places like that.
You're all across it. Go well.
I'm not a country girl. I'm not going to try and pretend that.
But I do love it. You're going very well.
I do love it. I saw you on one of the booths in Albury, though. You kind of get this rock star reception, not just from the One Nation people that they're handing out. But what were people telling you over the last couple of weeks? Well, what do they really want you to do in Canberra?
The same thing. I mean, if you talk to a small business, they say, this power bill's killing me. It's absolutely killing me. But
Barnaby, if you build a coal-fired power station tomorrow, if you got rid of the climate change department, that's not going to change their bills straight away. Yeah, so you're now in a position in One Nation where you need to start coming up with the answers.
But that is the answer.
But you've sailed on grievance for a while.
No, but that is the answer.
But you need to be part of the solution.
That is the answer. You can't just keep going down the path of insanity, thinking you're going to arrive at the town of logic. This idea, you're going to run Australia on wind towers and solar panels. You can put whatever you like on the roof. Don't care. Knock yourself out. But this idea that you're going to cover the fields with solar panels, wind towers, secret agreements, capacity investment schemes, and all of a sudden the power bill that's going through the roof is going to start going down is insane. So you have to make the decision somewhere to go back to what worked, which was coal-fired power. So we're going to do that. And even saying that, a lot of people will be hurting them in their stomach just for me saying that. Sorry, that's the truth. And, you know, on the way through, we have got so many other things that we have to streamline. We have to get greater access to our oil to start extracting it. Can you have an oil well tomorrow? Of course you can't. Can you build an oil refinery tomorrow? Of course you can't. Can you start? Absolutely, you've got to. Now, what stops us extracting oil from the Great Australian Bight? Environmental legislation. What stops us exploring in the Gulf of Carpentaria? Environmental legislation. What are people complaining about? Fuel security. And you say, well, look, you can't have both. You know, so we're going down the path of reality. This is the path that is taking us away from being the Singapore of it multiplied so many times because we have the resources. Because we're going to give the power back to Australia and we're going to start focusing on Australians first.
Picture this. Your power bill arrives. You stare at it. You question your life choices. And somewhere in Canberra, One Nation MP Barnaby Joyce is on Sky News saying the answer is actually pretty simple. We just need to go back to coal. That is the conversation Australia is having right now, and it is worth understanding clearly, because the energy debate is moving fast and the stakes for household budgets are genuinely real. Joyce has been pushing hard for Australia to abandon its net zero by 2050 target and return to coal-fired power as a central part of the energy mix, arguing that renewable energy sources cannot deliver the affordability that Australian households need. His position, stated plainly on Sky News, is that chasing a renewables-only future while power prices keep climbing is a fundamental policy contradiction. Now, the government's response to this is equally direct. The Albanese administration has staked its energy policy on the renewable transition, investing heavily in wind, solar, and grid infrastructure, with the argument that the long-term trajectory of renewables leads to lower costs and greater energy independence. Energy Minister Chris Bowen has consistently maintained that the transition is the path forward, not a return to aging coal infrastructure. And here is where the independent analysis adds texture. Researchers have pointed out that regions with significant renewable potential risk missing out on substantial economic benefits if they resist the transition, with new investment potentially moving to neighboring areas that are more open to it. That is not an ideological argument. That is a practical one about where jobs and investment flow. Nationals leader Matt Canavan has also been conducting a review of the party's net zero position following the May 3rd election result. So this is not just one MP expressing a personal view. It reflects a live internal conversation inside the broader conservative movement about which direction energy policy should go. The debate is real, the costs are real, and the consequences of getting it wrong land directly on every power bill in the country. That is your federal analysis for today. Subscribe for more sharp breakdowns of the policies that actually affect your life, and drop your take in the comments below.